Imagine waking up in the middle of the night, paralyzed, with a strange presence looming over your bed, and hours later, you realize time has gone missing. What would you do if your memories didn't match your reality? People have a unique and interesting way of thinking about the idea of being taken by aliens. It combines science fiction with psychology, folklore with neurological phenomena, and makes us wonder, are these real meetings with alien life? Or are they just mental projections affected by culture, trauma, and suggestion? In the past 100 years, many people have come forward with interesting and sometimes scary stories of being abducted by aliens. Skeptics say these things are just delusions, dreams, or hoaxes, but believers see them as proof of a spirit from another world. The truth might be somewhere in the middle, between how we see things, what we believe, and how our brains work. Betty and Barney Hill's case in 1961 is one of the most famous and important ones when it comes to kidnapping. This mixed-race couple from New Hampshire said they were taken aboard a spaceship after seeing strange lights while driving late at night. While they were under hypnosis, both told similar, detailed stories about being medically checked by aliens. Their testimony, which was closely looked at, became the model for the current story of alien abduction. The Hills story was told in a lot of news outlets, and it introduced a lot of themes that are now common in abduction stories, like lost time, medical exams, and beings with big eyes. It's interesting that they only told the whole story after a lot of hypnosis sessions. This makes me wonder about how memories can be distorted and how suggestible people are. In spite of this, the Hills case is still a famous one in both ufology and pop culture. Even before the Hills in 1957, a Brazilian farmer named Antonio Villas-Boas said that he was taken by aliens and used in sexual and medical tests on a spaceship. Even though it caused some debate, his experience was well recorded and is now thought to be the first modern report of alien abduction. Villas-Boas talked about humanoid figures with small blue eyes and red hair. He also said that he was seduced by a female alien in an event that some experts call symbolic or dreamlike. Later, doubters said he might have read similar stories in magazines or heard rumors in the area, but his case is still one of the oldest and most famous of its kind. Besides these pioneers, other famous claims have been in the news. Whitley Strieber, a famous and successful author, wrote a book called Communion in 1987 in which he describes strange meetings with non-human visitors to his remote cabin. Even though he doesn't say for sure that they were aliens, Strieber's disturbing memories struck a chord with many readers, especially those who had experienced similar strange events. His case is interesting because it shows how complicated people's minds can be, and his story is very emotional, with feelings of fear, confusion, and awe. Similarly, the Zanfretta incident happened in Italy from 1978 to 1981. It involved a night watchman named Pier Zanfretta who said he had been taken by aliens 11 times. While he was under hypnosis, he talked about tall, green, reptilian beings and went into great depth about alien technology. Researchers had a hard time figuring out if these stories were based on real events, hallucinations, or made-up memories because they were so detailed. No matter what, they added to the growing number of abduction stories that are being told all over the world. The Pascagoula kidnapping case in 1973 made people even more interested in meeting aliens. Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker said they were taken aboard a rocket by robots with claws that looked like crabs and given medical tests. Their story was strange, and it was even stranger that the interviews they did on their own were always linked to mental distress. Over time, more evidence and study, including work by modern UFO researcher Philip Mantle, showed even scarier things like tests on reproduction and long-lasting psychological effects. Skeptics say that these kinds of claims can be made up or misunderstood, but others think that the earnestness and fear that these people are expressing should be looked at more closely. In a city setting, Linda Napolitano's abduction claim in 1989 in Manhattan caused a lot of controversy when she said that she was raised through her bedroom ceiling and looked at by aliens. Her story got a lot of attention from the media and was turned into a Netflix documentary series. Many people have called her case into question, especially since she sued the platform for defamation. However, it is a striking example of how media and legal battles can make the story of alien encounters more complicated. Whether her story was true or made up, It became another part of the complicated web of alien abduction stories. As these stories spread, they started to have an effect on each other. To a large extent, the media shaped what people thought a kidnapping should look like. After the Hills case, certain themes kept coming up, like medical exams, telepathic contact, paralysis, and devices that were implanted. These trends make me think that cultural transmission may be going on, since each new case builds on what the previous one said. Sightings and experiences of being taken by aliens in groups add another layer of complication. The event at the Ariel School in Zimbabwe in 1994 is one of the most interesting stories with a lot of witnesses. There were reports from 62 kids that they saw a strange craft land near their school and talked to beings who could read minds. A Harvard therapist named John Mack was one of the researchers and reporters who took the kids' stories seriously, noticing how consistent and emotional they were. Skeptics, on the other hand, say that these events could be examples of mass panic, especially among young people who are easy to fool. A lot of different psychology ideas have been put forward to explain abductions. One of the most interesting has to do with personality traits that lead to fantasy and dissociative habits. People who do well in these areas are more likely to make up complicated stories about themselves and may even believe them without meaning to. Sleep paralysis is when the body can't move when it changes from sleeping to awake. People who have this condition often have strong dreams and feelings of being surrounded by beings from other worlds. Similar hoaxes, like the widely publicized but ultimately refuted Roswell autopsy film, make abduction claims even less credible and offer people more reason to believe they are all falsehoods. Not all misconceptions are intentional. Environment and air often generate misperceptions. Plane, star, weather balloon, and mental stress lights can resemble alien spaceships. The Hills may have seen a military base light during recreation. Without enough sleep and extended journeys, people may have had dreams or dreamlike states. Most scientists don't believe abductions or alien contact. Instead, they examine psychological traits common to abductees, such as dissociation, trauma, and delusions. Many non-alien accounts are vivid and consistent due to neurological causes. These include temporal lobe activation and sleep paralysis. Despite decades of dubious study, alien abductions still occur. Mental strength extends its lifespan. Experiences sometimes involve terror, awe, and confusion, making them memorable. When they worry of being picked, contacted, or experimented on by a higher intelligence, individuals dread and seek their place in the world. Support organizations, seminars, and forums help abductees discover community. The extraterrestrial abduction debate continues. Even if misinterpreted or poorly researched, some believe them. Skeptics blame psychological issues, cultural misconceptions, and odd brain functioning for the conduct. If you're fascinated by the unexplained, hit like, subscribe, and follow for deep dives into mysteries, strange encounters, and the science behind the stories.